Green Day band from Oakland. Question everything. Break the rules.
Within a couple of years, you'll have a hell of a story to tell.
Did you ever meet The Who? I mean, have you ever met your idols?
Yeah. Okay, fuck it, I'll tell the story. So, there was, we were playing in Vancouver, and I was a little bit hungover, so we had to play that night, and I was like, I'm going to go take a steam. And there was a steam room in the hotel. So I ended up going in, and then I was like, oh, great, there's nobody here. I can go in the steam room, and I got my shorts on, and I'm like, okay, cool. So I go walking in, and all of a sudden it was like, oh man, weird old guy naked right in front of me. And so I just kind of turned my head like this, and I kind of like, he's like, bleh, and I was like, eh. So I walk in, I go into the steam room, I was like, oh, thank God he left. So I'm sitting here, it's all steamy and stuff, and all of a sudden I was like, oh no, here he comes again. I was sitting there, and then he was like, in this real thick Cockney accent, he was like, do you want it hotter? And then I said, and I looked up, I go, yeah, sure. I look up, I go, oh my God, you're Roger Daltrey. There he was, like, in all of his glory. He's like, yo, you played in a band, you're in Green Day. And I was like, oh, yeah. Yeah.
You're in a band, too.
Yeah. So, yeah, under weird circumstances, I met the members of The Who.
We had a fan at the Bill Graham Civic Center a few years back.
San Francisco, California.
Yeah, he wanted to play guitar with us, and Billy said, you can play guitar with us, but he was up on an upper balcony, which is about 17 feet in the air. Billy said, you jump down here into the crowd, and they surf you up here, we'll let you play guitar with us. And he turned around, the last thing he said, he turned around, looked at the crowd behind him, and went, and jumped like this. And they all got in there, and they caught him and surfed him up, and not a hangnail or anything to go.
Because every f***ing day something weird happens. I got struck by lightning before I went on stage. It's kind of cool.
He fell headed in a freak accident with a unicycle once.
He rode off the stage on a unicycle one time and knocked one of his testicles into his intestines.
Mm-hmm.
That would happen?
You want to see that? That's fine.
Well, it was like the way the Who destroyed their equipment. They made it look so cool. It looked good. It was like, yeah, that's, not just a bunch of, monkeys up there, hammering away. So it was, to watch the Who do it. Because if you ever noticed when the Who were destroying their equipment, there was always a beat going on at the same time. I don't know why or how, but if you watch like the footage from the Monterey Pop Festival, they're destroying everything. There's smoke billowing everywhere, and everything is going out of control. But for some reason, it's like there's this doom 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 doom. Like how the hell did they do that? So I don't know. And I think that's Trey. He started lighting his kit on fire, and that was. I remember we played at Jones Beach at this. And there was all these people on the side, there's all these bands on the side of the stage, and it was during Nimrod, and they were kind of watching us as we were playing. And remember, Third Eye Blind had to play after us. and we were just like, we were playing, and then just, I was in a G-string at the end, and then just like Trey's destroying the kit, and he lights his drums on fire, and this big gush of flames just comes shooting out like that, and then and there was just so much smoke, and then all these local guys that were the stage crew they ended up like with all these fire extinguishers, so it was this giant billow of smoke that was on stage. You couldn't really see anything. I'm like going, I gotta play Time of Your Life right now, So I was sitting there, and I look out, and like I look up, and there all the when the smoke clears, and all the bands are going. Like that, and then when the smoke clears, like the entire front section was empty. People just went running for. So I'm like playing. There's like all you get was like how Jones Beach has got the and it has and then everyone in front was just gone. Everybody just ran for the doors. So it was like so we played Time of Your Life, and I was just thinking, oh, Third Eye Blinds, they've got a tough job right now.
Hard act to follow.
Yeah.
Setting a drum set on fire.
I got my own fire truck today. They brought one for me.
How much money cost the band on that tour, dude, with all the flyers?
Well, I actually put that drum company out of business single-handedly. Oops.
Well, one of the craziest things I've ever witnessed Billy Joe do was we had a limousine pick us up at our hotel, and the guy didn't have the directions, so the driver got out, went in to get directions, and Billy dove into the front seat and stole the vehicle. And we were probably gone, I don't know, 25 minutes or so before another vehicle chased up behind us and pulled us over, and he was steaming. It was hilarious.
All right, who's going to steal the vehicle?
It's getting to be time for me.
All right, Gray's now stealing the vehicle.
We might be a little out of our minds at times.
Once we were staying in Copenhagen. This guy goes, hey, come over to my house so you can meet my roommate, Sleepy. So we're like, okay.
We stay at his house after the show, and we go, and then he pulls out this jar.
We're getting ready to crash out, and then all of a sudden he rolls in this formaldehyde tank with a human head inside of it. He's like, this is my friend Sleepy.
That thing gave me nightmares.
He had pins all in his head. It was from a medical school. I slept right next to him. He was right. I woke up, I'm like, good morning, sunshine.
Our drink of choice has been the Cheech.
Cheech. Yeah, I'm drinking one right now.
You know, it's a silver tequila.
Check.
Tonic
Check.
with a wedge of lemon squeezed in it.
Check. And Timothy Leary taught Cheech from Cheech and Chong, Cheech Marin, how to make this drink like, a couple hundred years ago. And then Cheech showed me like a little while ago.
But he didn't have a name for it.
He didn't have a name for it.
So Trey named it the Cheech.
Named it the Cheech.
And it is taking over every bar we hit.
It's a good year when you make up a name for a drink and you have a #1 album. And you have to make up a sexual position too to complete the hack. That would be the Bullwinkle.
Oh, please.
Bullwinkle.
What's the Bullwinkle term?
Never mind. You can't tell with the.
I can't tell
you
what the
could.
Bullwinkle.
I mean, we know what it is.
I could demonstrate, but this ain't the right network.
He would need a volunteer.
Like Longview, it seemed like that song just took forever to write. It was all because it was, it started out with a drum beat, and then Mike wrote a bass line, which is a whole different story altogether about how Mike wrote that bass line. And then,
Tell us.
oh God. I came home from, we all lived in the same house in Richmond, California. And I ended up coming home, which we were terrible tenants at the time. We ended up chopping up the stairs for firewood. And, I come home and Mike is sitting on the floor with his bass and his eyes are this big around. And he's totally on LSD.
Was he?
He was on acid.
Oh.
And so, and then he was like, listen to this. Listen to this. That's basically, and then I don't know. I said, well, I hope you can remember it.
So you had the bass line.
Yeah. And then the lyrics came, and
Because there's that interlude.
Brett was eating soup and crackers one day, and he ran out of crackers, and I was across this restaurant, and I happened to have a whole bunch of crackers on me. They were crushed up because they were in my pocket for about a week, but I brought them over, and I poured them in his soup. He was so happy, he offered, hey, I don't care, man, are you in a band or something? I said, sure. He said, hey, tour this, please.
You're set.
So I was stoked. And then I had my people talk to his people.
Everybody has people.
Since we're both the leaders of people.
The people industry. That's the music industry. Everyone has people.
Industry, that's fucking a shitty word.
Industry!
Yeah.
Business! Dude, I went to a bar last night and there was people banging in the stall. It was nasty. I was like, wow, how you doing in there? Oh, slamming. That's fun.
Famous people banging in the stall.
Mm-hmm. Hey, brother, can you hold my tourniquet?
Famous people from certain bands were banging in the stall.